Wanted to go over this little part of town I went through in Bolton, Mass. This is right off Route 117. Long Hill Road. I still gotta look into this area. But just like the other day when I went to got pulled to that goddamn area and found out cemetery, Native American. I've been going out a lot towards Concord area. So Sudbury, Concord, finding a lot of stuff that's just pulling me out to that area. This area pulled me too. And, I just keep going down these goddamn roads and literally finding out stuff. But as you can see here, the way I'm facing in this first picture, mind you, I was going home this way. And, there it is. Hey, look. Tells you the friggin' area I was in. 96 Long Hill Road. Neat. All in all, like I said, I was heading out to Sudbury to do my video of the Native American part of the cemetery that I did not see when I was out there. So I had to get right back out there and pay my respects, and literally wanted to see right if it looked like a burial ground. But to me, a Native American burial is mounds of land that look like little hills, and there was none there. So right, I have reason to believe that they either moved this or buried over top of that. Or they might have maybe moved it to, but I don't know, because the way Native Americans bury their dead is very different from, the white man. They don't use coffins. But all in all, throughout that whole day, and I want to say that where that cemetery is in this spot where I'm looking at right now, it's at least a good half-hour drive from this Long Hill Road to where I wanted to be. So out of all the driving I did that day, which is, as you will see in a minute, of this area right here, but you can also see the fields and all along this road, mind you, also. There's a Indian Road, Indian Hill condominiums, everything labeled as with Native Americans. And this definitely looks like a road that Native Americans had a trail on, mind you. So out of all the places I could go to go back home, I didn't expect, not once, that I'd be back on the same road. This road I have never taken in my life. I've always passed it. I usually go 85, which is maybe a quarter of a mile heading left on the phone here. Say if there was the map and you get to the end of this road, you take a left like a quarter of a mile, you'd see Route 85 into Hudson. And like I say, I was trying to get to 85, but I don't know, it was like something was just, man, I can't explain it. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I'll go this way. Wait, I'm going to go this way. I'll go that way. This is where, yeah, whatever. But it was like something dragging me. It wasn't like I wanted to go this way. But I'm glad I did. Now I gotta find out a little bit more on this area. But lo and behold, as I'm driving this way now. I want to say, yeah, this is the way I was traveling in the morning to get to Sudbury. The first picture I showed you, I was heading home, but because I came into this damn spot again, I'm like, what the fuck? And see this snow banking back here in this driveway. When I reached this point, or maybe a little bit further where that telephone pole was, my wife's like, oh, what are them? What are them? I'm like, what is what? Now, mind you, my wife screams a lot because now she's starting to see all these birds. Before I used to talk of them, there they are. I don't give a shit. Stop talking to me about that now. Because of the owl coming to my wife. And I believe that owl was following my mother. Not for bad reasons, but because I've thought in a new theory of why the owl shows itself around time of death. And I'm going to tell you right now, this makes also sense. Not only is it a warning that someone's sick and ill, yes, they could die. So, but the meaning, and I get it now, I do get it now. They will stay there, I think, until that person passes, only to make sure that you get your last days in with your person. You know, people ain't gonna last forever. And my mother, man, she didn't want to, do what she had to do to stay living. And I was exercising was one of them. When I try to get her out, and she usually listens to me, but I ain't doing that, screaming at me. Leave me alone. It's like, all right, whatever. You're doing it to yourself, and she did it to herself, but I'm not here to knock anybody on that, but that owl has been seen since the beginning, like, summer of 2017. And that bastard was outside my mother's window just before she got sick and made it the first round in the hospital. And it's been following ever since. But not only is it a warning, I think also it's telling you to get with that person. If you find out someone's sick in your family, spend as much time as you can. It's just a warning to give you, your last days of peace. If there's any kind of, distortion between you and your family that you can fix, then fix it. If you can't, forget it. I don't think the owl will even show itself if there's something rotten between family members. But if there's something that can be fixed, or like with my mother, there was some stuff, that she done to me when I was a kid. And, I will never forgive for what she did to me. Some rotten stuff. But I did, up until the end, do what I had to do. Went there. We laughed. We had fun. Did what I had to do to just make it peaceful in her last days. And when my wife saw that owl the next day after she passed, I'll tell you, man, I think it wanted her to see it and not me. Because these birds, I believe, already know I know what this means, why I'm here. They're freaking over my head every day. Or every other day. There's not a day that don't pass that either I see a goddamn hawk, raven, or the owl. And I've taken pictures of them I mean, it's been there. Now, there's a lot of them. Two or three of them, I'll tell you. And then I've been recently 3 times caught the friggin' bald eagle. I was getting on Route 190 from the Leominster connector, Mechanic Street. And when I was swinging around to head into Fitchburg way, west, Route 2 west, that goddamn eagle flew right over my friggin' head. And I could not get my phone out because there was 2 cars behind me fast enough. I would have caused a friggin' accident, but I saw that damn fucking eagle. My wife has a video on the phone. I caught it, but not, close enough. But I knew it was because I saw that damn white head and... Oh, man. But today, yesterday, when I went out to this place, I said, look at that, what is that? Now she's looking. She's looking for the owl, though. But, come to find out, and this, I don't know. As you can see, the sun is straight, and this goes off to an angle, this gray mist. I'm not saying it's not sunlight, but to me it kind of looks like a spirit mist. And that wouldn't be the first time in daytime I caught any type of spirit. Caught a blue orb floating across the cemetery near Mount Wachusett, and I gotta get back up to that place. But that looks too much on an angle for that to be the sunbeams. But I could be wrong. But I got this. As you can, I think this is my video, right? Yeah. As you can see in the background there, the bird beneath the branches. Let me play it. There they are. See that? That was the first one. I mean, that was the second one. The first one. Yeah, you gotta look quick. Oh, there he is, right up there. And then the second one, right? And that was yesterday. And not only that, when I got home and I was on my way to pick up my son at school, another friggin' hawk. Oh, where was I? Or maybe it was somewhere else. No, it was... Ah, shit. I don't know. I saw the damn wingspan that flew into a tree. And the damn thing kept looking over at me. I seen it. But I did a little video here, but I wanted, like I said, I didn't have time to explain what I explained now. So, like I say, just show the video of where I was, commentary. But to come back down the same road that I friggin', that morning, I wasn't expecting to go back this way. I was trying to go a whole different route, but I got, I just got sidetracked by, things in my head. Oh, wait a minute, let me see something. This will explain it. I got sidetracked by a lot of things in my head. Hang on a second, I want to see. That was, alright, that is the sunbeam. Disregard the picture, there it is. There's a sunbeam. Or, yeah. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's a sunbeam. Never mind. On that behalf, at least I can back myself up. I thought the sun was more straight. But anyways, just to come back on this path. And, now, like I said, I wasn't expecting to go back that same road. And then all of a sudden, 2 hawks are there. The last time I see 2 hawks like that together, or even well known, I mean, I've seen them all over, but to be like this in this area, it's got to be a Native American spot, burial, death, because there's 2 red-tailed hawks that sit on posts at the Mount Hope farm where the great Chief Metacom was murdered and lost his life. That was his land of living. That's where he used to live, and he got killed. Born, raised, and killed there. But there's 2 hawks that guard that area. And like I say, I wish I could have recorded there, but I couldn't. And one flew in the woods where I was standing of his death site. And oh man, I was so pissed that I couldn't catch that. But they didn't allow me to record nothing. I forgot all about recording audio on the phone. I brought this little tape recorder like back in the day that you used to talk into, and came out like shit. Oh man. I mean, I might try and see if I wanted to get that and speak, maybe get a voice or something on it, but it came out like shit. And oh man, pissed myself off. And I had to download it on this one, but I had to bring in the friggin' audio recorder microphone app. And I forgot all about doing that, and I was fucking pissed. Of course, you think of that when you left the fucking place, right? But anyways, and every time my wife screams, "Oh, look at that bird," she thinks it's an owl or something. I try my damnedest to stop, just to show, just to prove that these birds are over my head no matter where I go. Whether it's trying to tell me something like the raven did. That's another thing. The raven. No shit. 2 days after my mother's death. And I couldn't get my phone out fast enough because I don't expect this shit, right? And I don't know if it was the same bird that was in the area at the time when I lived at Meadowbrook. Goddamn thing. Right on my doorstep. There was a piece of bread there or something that the kids threw out. Picked it up. Flew off. But right on the doorstep. I was like, damn! I caught the thing in mid-flight. And you could see the distance. Not the distance. What do you call it? I'll just say the wingspan and the body, how big it was. And I think I took a picture of them windows at Meadowbrook. And I'll tell you something, them windows at Meadowbrook had to have been at least 3 feet tall. And that bird covered at least half that window. I have a picture of it too, so I did it on video, but I screenshot it. Perfect catch of that, but I didn't get it, standing on my doorstep. It pissed me off, but at least I got it flying off. But 2 days after my mother's death, goddamn raven, poof, right on the fucking roof, right on the edge, looking over, down, right at me, his beak pointed down, staring at me. I'm like, hey. I'm like pulling on my camera. I'm like, God damn it. And then it flew. Also, it's a person, I'll say, because I don't want to even say the person's name, but they were at my mother's house last year. And the owl sat out in a tree across the street, too. So, I mean, the thing has been following. The thing has been there. I haven't seen it since. But that's what I'm marking these birds. Especially the owl. It's not a goddamn, what do you call it? It doesn't symbolize the devil. It doesn't symbolize evil. It symbolizes, yes, warning. Yes, there could be a death, and in my case there was. But at least I took that time to spend with my mother up until that last point. And, yeah, I seen her 4 days prior to her death, and she died on the 28th. Seen her on the 24th. But, oh man. But I'm stating this. This ain't in the history books, because all they talk about is how these are the devil's birds. These are evil birds. No, they're Native American birds, and they're sacred to what they do. Especially the red-tailed hawk, especially the raven. And the raven, I was at this one site, Native American woman suicide video I have. And, I was trying to figure out if I was in the right site. But my video screwed up and the noise came on. I went back a month later with the same phone. Have it all up on video. And it's Native American Woman Suicide 1 in Part 2. And no lie, the first time I went there, I got this strange noise. And someone claims that it could have been reception through the phone, getting bumped off something, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going with that. I mean, a buddy of mine told me that. But you know what? No way. Because the second time I went there, and I'm saying, this has got to be, like, I think I was saying this has got to be the right spot. Because it was a mile from the center of the common in Templeton, and I set my mileometer, drove exactly a mile, and that stone wall rock was perfect for what they used to do back in the day. If Native American women got forced to do something they didn't like to do, and in this case the woman already fell in love with a warrior, but her father wanted her to marry a chief. And I suppose he was ugly and she didn't like him at all because she already fell in love. But the father was persistent to get her to marry this chief, to bring peace to the tribes. And that's when she said, "Screw you, buddy," and jumped off the cliff and died. And how do I know that this was the right spot? And it gives me the reason to believe is why the raven flew over my head croaking that day. And I was saying in my video, what the hell is that, a hawk? I got it all wrong because I was just starting to really learn about these friggin' birds. You know, I've seen these things as a kid, not so much now, for Christ's sakes. I've heard about them, I've read about them, and all I've gotten out of it before I really knew the meanings was, that's the devil's bird. Just like Edgar Allan Poe in The Raven. He calls him the devil's bird and death and this and that. No, you're wrong. And I'll put money on this and I'll fight to my death for this. That bird was telling me I was in the right spot. It flew over my head croaking. And that's when I knew this is where the woman died. I would like to make a rock. And I do have an engraver. And I need to do this for my son's friend. He don't even have a gravestone right now, but I've been thinking about maybe making markers for myself. Especially when it comes to Native Americans. Engrave the stone. And put it in places like that in honor. Because like they say, Native Americans, when chiefs or warriors died in battle and they were not able to get them bodies home to their place of living, they had to bury them there as is. And when people, other Native Americans walked by and remembered or knew of that spot, they'd place a rock and create a mound of rocks to let people know and other natives that this was a warrior. That's how they did things. That's what I'd like to do up in Templeton. And that's what brings me to the owl. It's not a friggin' bringer of evil and Satanism and all this other bullshit. It's a Native American warning. Someone will get sick. Someone will die. But I am putting this on record right now that it's here to make sure you get them last days in with that person. That's what I think it is. That's exactly what it did in my timeline with my mother. And there's supposed to be Native American on my mother's side in our blood, especially coming from the Corning, Waverly, New York area. Huge Native Americans in Corning, New York. And that's where my mother was born and raised. That's where my grandfather was raised, and my great-grandfather was raised. So I'm pretty sure there's something in that relative blood. Just don't know which one yet, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, I do want to do that DNA testing, but they say it's all fake, but I don't know. I gotta try something. I need to know what I am, and I could have rightfully blood up there in Canada too. Ontario. Because there's a Dutrisac Boulevard, and my name is rightfully Dutrisac, not Zach. With a Z, which my grandfather, for some apparent reason, changed. I got kind of a story that makes sense, but I don't want to say nothing because it's, just roll your eye type of thing. It was senseless to do. But anyways, it ain't nothing serious, but it's just ridiculous. I don't even want to say it because it's just embarrassing. At least I can say I can carry on the name with respect. Other than that, I'm not saying my grandfather's bad. He did serve in World War I. I didn't get to meet him. He died in 1961. And I don't know. It's just the dumbest thing you can think of doing. And I wish he hadn't. Because Hoosac Tunnel, and Hoosac is Forbidden Mountain. Forbidden Mountain in Native, I believe that's what it is, and what I read, I could be wrong, but it is a Native American word, sac, and you put Dutrisac, what you got there, Native American. That's what I'm going with. But anyways, all in all, the birds, man, fly high over my head pretty much every day. It's not a day that don't go by that I see one flying over. And sometimes they get friggin' low, and I've had one, of course, driving down the road and fly right up the frickin' side of my door with his frickin' head beating eyes at me. It's like, wow. I stepped into this realm, and I'm where I need to be. Advocate for the dead. Be safe. Take care. Out.